In a modern-day Dodge City on asphalt streets is a different kind of cowboy.
Yeah, we got one!
3 teams in an urban outpost, each with a different specialty. Those with the hose, those with ladders, and those with a medical kit. They ride into town with red lights flashing, not to save the day, but to save lives. They're working in territory they call the Wild West. Downtown Baltimore, Maryland resembles many large metropolitan American cities, but less than 20 blocks away is another world. It's called the Wild West. The firefighters of Engine 13 are the busiest in the city. But life at the Firehouse has its share of tedium. Equipment maintenance is an essential part of firefighting, and it's often a challenge to find the time to do it. In these early morning hours, the firefighters are taking advantage of rare downtime. It is the only time everyone will be in the house together today. At any moment, the bell may ring, and anything might be at the end of the call.
When you get a call, it's not too bad, but when you see the smoke, that's when your adrenaline gets going. And it's like a rush.
Yeah, we got one! We got one! Down and over to the left. We got one. She's rocking.
This job can be one of the biggest emotions or feelings I think we go through is it's a lot of stress involved. We can be sitting in the kitchen one moment eating dinner, and 30 seconds later we can be riding up the street, see smoke in the air. You know that you're going to have a working fire somewhere when you get there.
Kenny Lee has been with Engine 13 since he left the fire academy 10 years ago. 23-year-old rookie Steve Lockett has been in the fire department for 18 months. He is the third generation of Lockett men to be part of Engine 13.
Here we go.
Steve is backed up by Lieutenant Paul Novak, who is the son and father of firefighters. At 48, Paul is the old man in charge of Engine 13.
It's my responsibility to get off and call for the diameter and length of hose that I want taken into the building. And I generally base that on my intuition and experience. Then the pipe man will grab the indicated hose, begin stretching it into the door. At that point, it's my job to assist in pulling the hose along with him, trying to straighten it out and direct him where I think we should go to attack the fire. In a typical residential fire, if a mattress is ignited, what will happen? The mattress begin to produce smoke, heat, and flame. if the fire goes unchecked for long enough, the heat and smoke and flame will begin to expand. The heat and the flame will heat up the air and the other materials in the room. When they reach a certain point, the other materials, the wallpaper, the curtains, the roof area will burst into flames. The ceiling temperatures could be as high as 1,000 to 1,500 degrees, depending on the amount of contents that are burning in the room. Generally, if we can find the fire fairly quickly, the extinguishment on an average fire takes less than 5 minutes. After that's when all the hard work starts.
If Engine 13 is going to control the fire successfully, it's vital to ventilate the building. They call in the firefighters from the truck company who begin to open windows and to knock holes in the roof. They look for concealed spaces in the wall, floor, and ceiling. Anywhere the fire may have spread. Experience has taught them that flames can creep unnoticed into amazing places. In firefighting lingo, the pipe is the hose. The man who holds it, the pipe man, is the first one who gets to take on the fire. It's everyone's favorite job.
I get a lot of satisfaction if I'm on the pipe when I go in there and, I got the lieutenant right behind me and tell me what to do, and I'll put it out. It's just me and the fire, and it's like I'll put the whole thing out. And afterwards, it's like you look around and see everything's burnt. It's like, wow, it was neat.
At this red brick house, the alarm was raised by a distressed mother who discovered her son's bedroom on fire. The engines arrived within 3 minutes of the call, and in the next 6 minutes, the fire was put out. But by then, the bedroom was completely destroyed. And although no one was hurt, the entire home was damaged by smoke and flames. The cause? A 3-year-old boy playing with matches. Even after the fire had been put out, the temperature in the room stayed at 120 degrees.
After the initial fire is knocked down, we tear the walls out, we tear the ceilings out to make sure that it hasn't extended into the walls to go upstairs or anything, because the fire can travel through the walls and the rafters and everything else. So a lot of people think that we're just destroying their house, but it's not. The reason for it is not just to destroy the house, it's to be able to tell if the fire is extended to another floor.
There you go. Where's the axe?
A lot of people think the job's glamorous. They see us riding around in a big fire truck, or they have a picture of us sitting out front in chairs talking to people that are going up and down. What they don't see is in the middle of summer, going to a fire and becoming sick to our stomachs from the heat and humidity because of all the work we're doing.
I'll be in a fire, fighting a fire, and I'll be gasping, side hurting, getting the cramps and everything. And I see Lieutenant Novak, who's twice my age, he's still going around like there's barely even breathing hard. I'm like, I'm supposed to be the young one here. I'm the one supposed to be the one that's in shape here.
Heat exhaustion is a life-threatening condition that plagues firefighters. Excessive loss of body fluid reduces blood volume, which in turn robs the brain of oxygen, causing firefighters to become faint or to collapse. In the summer of 1997, 250 Baltimore firefighters were treated for heat exhaustion. 13 were hospitalized. Truck 16 shares a berth with Engine 13. This $650,000 truck has no hoses. Instead, it carries a variety of ladders and needs 2 drivers. 33-year-old Steve Cobo, a third-generation firefighter, is one of them.
Truck 16 is a 100-foot aerial ladder. It is tractor drawn. It has a driver who drives the front, and it has an operator in the back, which we call a tillerman. And his job is to put this truck in small areas where other trucks can't go. It also has an assortment of ground ladders, and it has an assortment of rescue tools that we'd use for the job.
Firefighters on trucks assist engine companies in getting into buildings. They are experts in forcible entry, going into a location where they can't use the door.
Truck 16, turn out, possible forced entry, injured in the home.
Perched on the back end of 16, Steve Cobo has an unusual perspective on driving to a fire ground.
Truck work, I think, is very exciting in itself, but being back there, driving the back of the truck is exciting. It's like being on a big amusement ride. You got to constantly watch where you're turning, and the tillerman has to turn the exact opposite of what the driver is turning. So if the driver is turning left, the tillerman has to turn his wheel to the right to bring the rear end of the truck over to the right. And then when the driver finishes his turn, well, then the tillerman has to bring the wheel back and line himself back in line with the driver. So your hands are moving all the time back there.
An injured man can't move to get help, and he's locked inside his apartment. No one has a key, but truck 16 has a ladder.
All right, hey, Mike, do the stick.
The hydraulic jacks, which come out of the side of the truck, they help support the truck, and they enable us to throw the stick. Throwing the stick to us is putting the aerial ladder in service. You actually lift the back tires up off the ground to just to where the bulge is out of the tires. And that way you know that your truck's weight is resting on those outriggers. And when you put the aerial ladder up, you need the secure footing for that ladder, because the ladder is very heavy. And you want to make sure you don't tip the truck when you're moving it in position and things of that nature.
Steve Cobo is the first up the ladder to assess the situation. When a situation is assumed to be life-threatening, a firefighter is legally allowed to enter a residence.
Is he in there, Steve?
I'm checking. I don't see him yet. He's over here in the bedroom. Right in here, Al. What's his name again?
William Richardson. William Richardson. Oh, they got the camera.
Yeah. You need medicines, Mr. Richardson?
I had some pain meds on the table, but I can't get up. I can't get up. I was
we good. We good.
It's
sore up here?
Oh, it was sore all the I was trying to get my shirt off.
The man fell 24 hours earlier and dislocated his shoulder.
Hey, make sure they bring up a blanket or something with that Stokes basket, so we don't tear him up on it.
Baltimore has one of the busiest medic units in the world. They work non-stop all day.
Put your arms across your body.
Damn, a truck man that can count.
Oh, my neck.
Take him just, we got that down just a little bit, Ron.
Yeah.
Often the fire trucks can get to a medical emergency quicker than a medical team.
How's that?
So all firefighters are EMTs, trained emergency medical technicians who are certified in basic life support.
I'm fine. He's gonna need somebody to kick. Okay. I'm fine. All
right, go ahead, Al. Proceed at your speed.
All right, well, come on. You bring it back to us?
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
The role of firefighters has changed dramatically in the past 10 years. Today, less of their time is spent fighting fires, and fully half their responses are for medic assists.
Engine 13, sick on the street.
Firehouse Engine 13's Medic 4 unit is kept constantly on the go. During an average 10-hour shift, medics respond to 20 calls to 911. Baltimore's 18 medic units are placed strategically around the city according to need. In Baltimore's Wild West, the need is one of the greatest. 28-year-old Sarah Need has been a member of the fire department for 1.5 years. She dates a police officer. 34-year-old Chris Sorensen, her partner, has a Bachelor of Science degree in emergency medical services. Chris lives on a farm and raises horses.
Oh, Terry again.
You need some oxygen. You need to stop calling us 4 times a day. 4 times. More than that.
At least 4 times.
Hey, where's your inhalers? You got 'em
I don't
with
have
you?
no medication. That's why I keep getting sick.
He's tight as usual. Come on, Jerry. Come on, you can make it.
The guy we just had is like a regular. We've had him about 4 or 5 times in the past month alone. Calls in, he's having trouble breathing, like he has asthma or whatever. The medic unit will come, pick him up, take him up to the emergency ward. Once he gets there, walks in the door, turns around, walks right back out again. A couple days later, you get the same kind of call, transport him again. It's like, it's a constant thing with him.
In Baltimore, abuse of the 911 emergency system is rampant. In 1996 alone, the fire and police departments received more than 1.5 million calls, 1,600 every 24 hours. Of those, a great percentage were for non-emergency assistance, ranging from requests for someone to talk to people using the medic system as a taxi service.
Sick on the street again.
Didn't I tell you it was him? I knew it was him before we left the station.
He said Mercy will take me. Mercy don't want him. Nobody wants him.
I am not taking him Mercy. This is the second time today. Jerry?
Is he actually really barred from these hospitals?
Yeah, he is. Everybody has thrown you out of the hospital. They're tired of taking you. No.
Jerry's going to jail this time.
Jerry's going to jail this time.
Yeah.
We're not taking you anymore. We're tired of it, Jerry. This is ridiculous.
Mercy will take me.
We are not taking you to Mercy. We will take you to the closest hospital, which is Maryland General, and Maryland General will not accept you.
When y'all left, I walked. Thought I was close enough to go to Mercy. I called for another ambulance.
And they wouldn't take you
brought me
either.
right
You
back
called
in.
4 times today.
I called twice.
This is the 3rd time.
This is the 3rd.
We picked you up once earlier, Jerry.
Take the cameras off me.
Would y'all please help me?
Jerry, you do not take your medicine. They take you to the hospital and you walk out of the hospital. So what do you guys want to do?
Nothing. We're going to have him locked up.
Leave them locked up. Have Baltimore City Police Unit respond also. I can go ahead and take care of him. This is every day. He calls us every day, 3-4 times a day. A lot of times I've taken him to the hospital. He'll go to the hospital, go to the bathroom, walk right back out of the hospital again.
Okay. I don't do that.
The heck you don't. You were out of the hospital so fast we couldn't. You never even made it to the emergency room. We have taken you so many times to the hospital, Jerry, and they throw you out of the hospital because you get nasty with them, you get abusive with people. So they just throw you out. That's why nobody will take you. I mean, we have no problem taking you to the hospital, but you won't stay.
I just been pleased.
Honey, I'll check you, but I'm telling you what, I know what's going on. It's the same thing that's always going on.
Man, I could be laying back watching.
You're moving air, Jerry. You're moving air.
I feel sick. My lung.
You
My
don't have
lungs
to
is
move.
hurting.
You don't have
My
to
left
move.
lung.
You're moving plenty of air. This don't lie. I can hear with this, hon. You're moving air.
I'm standing still.
That doesn't mean you're still breathing.
You know how long it would take me to get to North Avenue from here?
You catch a cab, Jerry. Get on a bus.
Have any money.
Well, how you gonna pay for the ambulance? It's $250 every time you get in the back of that thing.
When we're going to the fire, you know, a lot of these guys who've been in for a while, it's all second nature to them. You know, they don't even think about it. They get out and they just do what they got to do. Well, I'm not to that point yet. So I'm still thinking what I got to do. I'm trying to think if I was in the lieutenant's shoes right now, you know, what would I be thinking? What am I going to tell me when I get out of the wagon? You know, where's the hydrant if I'm leading off? So I try to be one step ahead of them, but it never happens. By the time I get out, the lieutenant's right there in my ear telling me to do this and do that and do something else that I didn't even think about. So I got a lot to learn. You know, I'm still just a dumb rookie.
When Engine 13 first arrives at the scene of the fire, they stop by the closest hydrant. The lead-off man jumps off and connects the large diameter hose up to the hydrant. The engine then moves as close as possible to the edge of the building, and the pump operator begins the business of putting the pumps into service. The hose running from the hydrant is plugged in, and the pumps are ready to roll. The worst scenario the firefighters can face is a row of boarded-up vacant houses. This is especially true in Baltimore, where a large number of terrace homes have what's known as a common roof, built with the same roof timbers spanning several different houses. They're particularly dangerous if fire gets into the roof when it's windy like this, with gusts running up to 50 miles an hour. The blaze started in the end house, and it's now moving rapidly along the roof timbers through the other houses.
I know it's gone down 2 buildings already. Pull the seal right here, let me know. It's spread already, please. Right there, here. I got a line in the back. I got a line in there, so it's got fire in that area right there. I'd rather bring the line down here and stop it before it spreads down the block. Try to get the roof open up there, too. Further down. Oh, my goodness. In the line down here. He's turning it off. Come on down the ladder and hand me the line.
Here on the west side, real competitive is being first in on a fire, which means that we get the front of the house. We pull up, we're beating the other company in and getting the front of the house, which means that we're on the pipe, we're going to get the bulk of the fire, which is the big thing. You go and you want to fight the fire. A lot of times if you're second or third in, you don't get any of the fire. By the time you get in there, the fire's out, and basically all you do is just the manual work, which is part of the job, but it's not as fun as when you're in there, it's just you and the fire. So first in's real important, especially when you're on the pipe. You want to get the fire, you want to get in, get the adrenaline rush of just you and the fire there. So it's real competitive around here, and the companies around here, which I think makes us a better fire department.
Just try to stop it from getting any further down the block, all right? Do what you can in this building here. Get it over. Got a truck man with a hook. Bill's got a hook.
After half an hour, 44 firefighters and the fire reach a standoff at the last townhouse. Rescue 1's crew vents the buildings from their rooftops.
Working with Lieutenant Novak, it's wild because he's a great firefighter and he's a good lieutenant.
Okay.
He's good to emulate, I think, as far as being a rookie, as far as somebody to kind of look up to. As far as having a lieutenant and listening to him. I think you're great.
But even great firefighters have horrible days. This has got to be one of them. All the houses are destroyed. It's Sunday morning in Baltimore, and the sun is scorching. Not a day for rushing around. But before long, Sarah Need, Chris Sorensen, and Tillerman Steve Cobo get a call. This time, the 911 call has reported someone unconscious in an alleyway. They know this could mean anything from a drunk who could just need help back on his feet to a dead body. Today, it's the worst possible outcome, and murder is a definite possibility. For once, the medics beat the truck to the scene.
What do you need, ladies? He's dead. Homicide. We're just trying to find out where the bullets are so we can write it up.
He's dead. I'm sorry, we didn't know you were on a call.
He's dead. Hey, Bruce. He's dead.
I've had my share of deaths and things like that, but it happens, and it's part of the job. It's not to be cold sounding, but you just got to pick up and move on. But it's always going to be out there.
Sarah Need, like all her colleagues, has seen so many tragedies unfold on the streets of Baltimore. But experience has taught her to keep her feelings to herself. Otherwise, she couldn't do her job.
Blew out the back of his head. How long?
How long has he?
Oh, at least since last night.
Oh, he's been there. It's not like it just happened.
No,
Leave everything where it is.
Yeah,
want me to come back at it?
He's got a lot of cast in his hand in storage.
Can you? I don't see it.
Yeah, it's clenched up.
Is it?
Clenched up on his hand. Yeah, it's been good.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
I'm getting out of here.
I don't want to.
Must have been a crime scene.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah, we pointed at everything.
Yeah, I had to write this up. Guess we don't need an Narcan, huh? Excuse me.
Frequently, we don't have anything available in the immediate area for lunch, so if we don't bring a meal in to prepare at the firehouse, which we do occasionally, we go to one of the local markets or one of the local fast food places. Since I have the radio, everybody more or less has to stay in my line of sight or be in a place that if we get a response, I know immediately where to find them so that we can quickly get on the apparatus and leave and take the response.
Is that us?
13 medic 1.
Come grab my food.
Avenue, appointment 9C. 5693.
What do we got? I didn't get my food.
Medic.
Get my food.
900 Argyle.
You got it.
Leaving the pizzas behind, they respond to a 911 medical emergency. A young girl has been found lying desperately injured in the streets.
Okay, so that... Let's get her rolled over. Let's get her rolled over.
Her mother can't be found, and the police have moved everyone else back while they decide what needs to be done.
She's breathing. Okay, come on. Some oxygen.
Within minutes, Lieutenant Paul Novak has established what's happened.
Agent 13, Medic 4, I have a female, fell out of a second-story window. She has head injuries, bleeding. We started her on some Motil and controlling the bleeding.
All right. She fell out of the window.
Kanisha.
You got a reaction? Is it reactive?
Don't look like it.
Huh?
Dilated, aren't they?
Not moving? No movement? How about the other one? No, I don't think so either.
There's any in there.
No reaction.
Kanisha's condition is extremely critical. Her brain is swelling, and Novak and his team know that within minutes she could die.
Stay still. She fell out of the window?
Little kid with the flag on. We're both looking out the window at something, and she just came out.
Is this right where she landed when she came down? Or did someone move her? Did somebody move her?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, 1,000.
At 4 years old, she's been coming back and forth, coming around, going back out again. She's got a bad head injury. Bleeding about something.
Down the paint stimulus. Looks like she hit the side of her head.
Sir, give me a pediatric collar. Pediatric collar.
Kanisha.
Kanisha may have damaged her back in the fall. A surgical collar will stabilize the spinal cord until the hospital can x-ray her.
According to witnesses, she came right out to this position. She didn't bang off the steps. She came out head first. We did roll her onto her back. She was laying face down in the gutter.
Got the leg undone there? Yep.
The kids are bad. You know, you try to be standoffish as far as when you work on the people because it helps you do your job. But when it's a little kid, you always worry more about them. You know, you think about it more when you're going home after work, how they're going to do. You know, is she going to make it through the night? It's always tougher with the kids.
With her life in the balance, Kanisha must get to the trauma unit immediately. Lieutenant Novak realizes it will take all hands to keep Kenesha alive. He assigns rookie Steve Lockett to drive the ambulance, enabling both medics to treat the little girl. Firefighter Kenny Lee will also be in the back to support them. Novak will follow alone in engine 13.
You take care driving?
25, 30.
12 feet.
That's coffee?
It's bad. Maybe 10 feet.
Fell out of 4 years old, fell out of that second floor window, fell into the gutter. We didn't move her, or nobody moved her till we got there. So it's about a 10-foot drop is all it is.
Give me shock trauma and Johns Hopkins pediatric team online. Here. Okay, Baltimore City Medic 4 on Med Channel 3. Shock trauma. This is Baltimore City Medic 4. I'm on the scene of a 4-year-old female who fell out of a 2-story building approximately 12 to 15 feet, approximately 20 minutes ago. Driver on the same patient is unconscious, decreased GCS of approximately 9. She does have facial fractures, left orbital fracture with a bilateral orbital ecchymosis. No obvious injuries at the time. Lung cells are both clear. No, she's got a lot.
Bruising around Kenesha's eyes indicates a possible skull fracture. Her heart rate is slowing radically.
Her bagging, 100% A2 via bag mouth mask. We're going to attempt intubation and IV here in approximately a couple minutes after we intubate the patient. And we're going to we want to know which patient wants the patient. Shock trauma or Johns Hopkins.
Hold still, honey.
At this time, she is resisting according to noxious stimuli, but she is grading down back and forth with application of O2. We are closer to shock trauma. Shock trauma, Hopkins, is difficult to understand. Which facility, EMRC, which facility wants to accept the patient? Okay, shock trauma will see you in approximately 5 to 8 minutes. Baltimore City Medic 4's out. We'll recontact you if any further changes.
They're probably going to have to trach her.
So you're going to make it shock trauma?
It's going to be, shock trauma. We need a driver.
Got it, right.
You're going to take it.
Got a driver.
You know what?
Are we both going?
You want us on board?
I just need one bigger mask. We need a bigger mask. This is too small.
We were looking.
We only have a good size mask. We may have to
Get our pupils checked.
Pupils are
no reactions. Are they dilated?
We've got no reactions yet.
We got no
They're slightly
reactions.
dilated. But I mean, it's dark in here. I looked at it.
I got it right here on my hip pocket. I got it over here on the side. She's like, okay.
Still no reaction.
They're not dilated though.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
Dilated eyes indicate possible brain damage.
Take the head down. Are we hooked up to
Yeah, we are.
oxygen on this?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you're flown.
No, take it off. Take it off, taper neck. We'll get a better.
She's still clamped down?
You know what? She needs to be suctioned.
Yeah, we got a lot of it out of her already, Chris.
Did you?
A lot of clots.
Watch her. She's posturing.
Posturing is the term for muscle spasms, a sign of significant brain injury. The medics fear the small and apparently frail child is near death. But ironically, Kenesha's age could be her saving grace. Children are physically more resilient to medical shock, and she's still fighting injuries which could have already killed most adults.
Come on.
I think it's swelling.
That's her teeth are clamped down.
Her brain is swollen.
Brain is swollen. We can't get her intubated.
The most important thing now is to keep Kenesha breathing. But her air passages are blocked with coagulated blood. Getting a tube down her throat to respirate her is essential.
70 seconds.
She's doing okay.
Yeah.
Trying to have her oxygen.
We got it. You know what? Do we have a
What do you need?
pulse ox? You know what?
Where is it?
It's in that bag right there on top. Our drug bag. Right here. Right here. The blue bag. It's in the middle section. Heart rate's coming up.
You got a finger?
You know what? Pull her shoes off. Pull both her shoes off. Put it on her foot. No, she's posturing. She's posturing. She's doing it with this left side.
The pulse oximeter attached to the toe measures the amount of oxygen in the child's bloodstream.
To your left. All right. Yeah, we're only at 79 over here. We're at 80.
Greater than average levels of oxygen are needed by Kenesha's injured tissues as her body fights for survival.
On a stretcher and strap her down, please.
Okay, hang on, let me get the other.
You ready? She's sliding.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. All right.
Down. You're
The steps
99.
over here on the other side. Are we hooked up?
100%.
Okay, good. Dive it down. Shut that off for a minute so it doesn't back up, please.
Got it shut down?
Yeah.
Got it? Easy there, Stevie.
You know, really hyperventilating.
Coming out.
Ready? There.
Start to run the IV again.
Open up.
Open up.
Less than half an hour has gone by since Paul Novak and his team arrived at the scene. In that time, they have succeeded in doing the very thing that makes their job worthwhile. They have saved a young child's life. Amazing. Despite facial fractures and concussion, Kenesha made a complete recovery and returned home after just 10 days. 32-year-old John Scarpetti has spent all of his 7 years with the fire department at Engine 13.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Look at you, look to the left. Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta turn this one. Oh yeah. It's in the back. It's all in the back. All the fire's in the back.
There's a fire in the empty basement of a 3-story house, one of the most dreaded situations from a firefighter's point of view.
Get it.
Firefighters must descend through flames into a contained area. The only way out is the way in. So if this becomes obstructed, they may become trapped. This home is unusual. Its foundations slope, and there's a second entrance to the basement in the rear of the
Ain't
house.
gonna have enough. That points the line. Break that line. Break the line.
The fire has already spread to the first floor.
Go ahead, take it up.
Paul Novak and Kenny Lee approach the burning house from the rear.
By yourself, babe. Hurry up. Tell them to charge it. Shade. Tell them to charge it. Get your mask on. They're hitting it from the front. Okay, get your mask. I'm all right. Got a draft. Okay, let them hit it.
But there's a problem. Engine 20 has entered the house from the front as they start fighting the fire too. Their water supply turns instantly into a cloud of potentially lethal burning hot steam. Paul Novak and Kenny Lee are now at serious risk.
Oh, they're pushing. They don't want us. All right? Yeah, they're pushing. They don't want us. Just keep it on top, Kenny, so you don't hit anybody. Bring your arm back out. Bring it back. Kenny, bring it back.
Somewhere in the chaos, Kenny Lee, who has removed his helmet to put his mask on, is hit full force with the burning steam.
See anything, Dad? Can you see anything?
The fire involves several rooms in the basement and has progressed up the stairs to the first floor. Entering from the front door, Engine 20 moved to the top of the stairs leading down to the basement. At the same time, Engine 13 attacked the fire from the rear basement door. Unaware that Engine 13 was in the basement, Engine 20 opened up their jet at the top of the stairs as they descend towards the seat of the fire. In the intense heat, the water from Engine 20's pipe instantly flashed to steam, measuring 220 degrees Fahrenheit. The force of the water from their hose pipe drove the steam into the basement and out the back door where Kenny Lee stood with his crewmates. Lee was stunned, but continues to fight the blaze.
Hey, Luke.
Meanwhile, Steve Cobo and Truck 16's ladders have been called.
The ground ladders are the unsung heroes, so to speak, in a truck company. You want to get your ground ladders to the second floor, the third floor of the building. You want to be able to get the ladder in a position where you can open up the dwelling to relieve the smoke and the heat off the engine crew, because the engine crew is coming in with a line, and if the place isn't opened up, it's just sitting on top of the engine crew. And when they crack their line and they start putting the fire out, you want the windows opened up so you can escape all that heat and toxic smoke. The dangers in firefighting, I guess, is kind of, it's there. It's definitely there. It doesn't really cross your mind at the moment because the adrenaline is really going. Again, the adrenaline's going. It's in your mind, but it's kind of in the back of your mind.
With Steve Cobo atop the ladder venting, Paul Novak and the others try unsuccessfully to enter the building through a side entrance. But Engine 20's action in the basement still generates so much steam, it is impossible for them to make any progress.
The window on the right side.
Kenny Lee finally realizes he's been injured by the steam. After seeing the medic, he reluctantly obeys orders to go off duty for 2 shifts. Lee is one of over 700 firefighters injured in the line of duty in 1997 in Baltimore, 50% of the front line. Once back on duty, Lee doesn't have to wait long to see action.
Everybody goes. Got multiple calls for a building fire on North Avenue. What we got?
Try to keep from getting up in the 3rd floor if you can. What? Don't clear the heat. I don't want to get any water in that.
A Victorian-era pharmacy is ablaze. With no hope of saving the building, the firefighters seek only to extinguish it.
Okay, keep pouring it in there a little higher if you can, but just stay right in the middle of the 2 windows.
With some fires, even though it is generally our job to try to gain access, get in as close to the sea of the fire as we can, and extinguish it as quickly as we can, sometimes that's just not possible.
This is a case when it's clearly not possible. It's 7:30 a.m. as hundreds of commuters join the morning rush hour. The building has erupted in flames and smoke and is burning out of control. There's no hope of getting inside in conditions like this.
In these cases, we're forced to do what we call a defensive mode, where we basically are trying to contain the fire to the buildings that are already involved and prevent it from extending to any other buildings in the area.
That wall could go at any time. This would do up, ready to come down.
There's some indicators that we've been trained to look for. We notice the smoke seeping through cracks in the walls. That's a fairly good indication that the walls are in poor condition. They're very likely that they will separate and fall at some point. So anytime we happen upon a fire where the smoke is actually coming through the walls, we'll stand back from that. The walls could be bowed outwards or bowed inwards. They can be leaning to one side or another. That's a pretty good indicator that if the fire gains any headway and begins to really destroy the interior of the building, that the building is more likely to collapse. If the walls appear that they're going to fall, it's a possibility that just the weight of the water being thrown at the wall will knock it over if it's in particularly bad shape.
Okay, it looks like a wall's come there. Shut it down, it's backed up.
This fire was started deliberately, and no one has yet been caught. For the 3 teams that served Baltimore's Wild West, Engine 13, Truck 16, and Medic 4, it's just another one of the 14,000 emergencies they have to deal with each year.
Coming up, rediscover America with David Hartman, the Alaska Highway. Then stay up north for a visit with the Great Alaskan Bear on Discovery Sunday. All coming up only on the Discovery Channel.